If you're trying to grow your video business, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to break down the fastest way to make $10,000 a month with video. So why should you listen to me anyways? Well, my name's Tyler. I own Blue Dot Media. We are a video production and strategy company in Buffalo, New York. We're actually here in our studio, and we have scaled our business to over $20,000 a month in revenue consistently. And we just want to be able to help you and help every video agency owner who might be in a similar situation that I was in just a few short years ago. Now, before I get too into it, a few disclaimers. This has what's worked for me and what's worked for a lot of people, and what I continue to use to grow my business. It, for some reason, might not work for you, but I'm pretty confident that if you do everything I say, you will be making more money with video. And another disclaimer is I'm probably going to say some things very matter-of-factly and like they're the easiest things in the world to do and probably make me sound kind of like a dickhead. But I promise it's very simple stuff, but I know it's not easy. Trust me, I've been there. I've had my head on the desk trying to figure out how I'm going to make my next rent payment because my business isn't doing that well. So I totally understand that, though I'm going to probably make it sound like it's easier than it is. I get it, and I don't discredit wherever you might be in your journey. But I promise you, if you take what I'm about to show you and implement it in your business, you will make more money. Okay, so for the people who don't want to watch this full video and just want the Cliff Notes version, here's how to do it. You figure out a service or a package you can sell for $1,000 a month, and you sell it to 10 people a month. That's it. Now, like I said, that sounds super easy, and if it was that easy, everybody would do it, but there is a lot more that goes into it, and that's what I want to break down in this video. So step one is your offer. So in creating your offer, you want to think of a few things. Number one is, who are you going to be selling this offer to? You need to know who your target audience is. So target audience is number one. You need to know at least a type of business or a type of person or a few types of businesses that are kind of related, so you can make an offer that actually solves their problems and is valuable to them. And once you have your target audience kind of zeroed in on, you want to figure out what their pain points are and what problems to solutions you're going to be solving for them. So that's going to be the big thing, is what problems are you solving? Then from there, you have to figure out how you're going to solve that problem and what deliverables you're going to be giving them each month to help them solve that problem. So how many videos are you going to be doing? What kind of videos are you going to be doing? What kind of services or experience are you going to be delivering to them so they can solve these problems? Now for our offer, we have our target audience picked out, the problems that we're going to help them solve, and what we're going to deliver to them on a monthly basis to help them solve those problems. So to make things easy, I'll share with you one of the starter package that we have here for the studio for our clients. So every month they get 8 videos. Those are short form, so reels, pretty much. They get our content creation course, a little mini course that we made to help them make better content. So access to the course, a list of hooks and frameworks that we use to make better content, so that way they can come up with ideas. This is kind of a twofold thing. It helps them out a lot because a lot of people are like, what am I going to talk about? And they get really nervous, and there's a lot of anxiety around, what do I talk about every month? And you're able to say, hey, we got you. We got your back. We're going to show you how to do it. We're going to give you all our frameworks, but also it saves you and me a bunch of time from having to do this with every client. So we get the frameworks, and they get studio time. The deliverables that we have monthly are 8 short form videos, access to our course, our frameworks, and 2 hours of studio time on whatever site you want here in the studio. And who we do that for is mainly realtors and adjacent businesses. So we do a lot of like realtors, agents, mortgage brokers, and now with the studio, we're starting to bring out to anybody who has a trust-based business that really relies on the personal brand, who understand that they need to be consistent on social media to grow their business and stay top of mind for their clients, while also showing personality and realizing that, hey, Canva graphics don't work anymore. So those are the problems we're helping them solve. So all this is the offer, and we price it at $9.97 a month with a 3 or 6 month contract. So this is the offer. It's probably the biggest thing that you can come up with. And I know it's hard to productize your service or come up with packages because so much can be, the it depends things. But when you're talking to a client and someone says, how much does it cost to work with you? At least having a base offer that you can spit out and say, this is kind of where we start with our clients and it's this much. It helps anchor a price a little bit of a minimum that you're going to be working for people with. And it also just gives you something concrete to offer versus if someone says, hey, how much does it cost to work with you? And you say, well, it depends. They go, okay, well, fuck off. I'm not dealing with that. I was just wondering. So if you can say, yeah, usually, we work with real estate agents on a monthly basis to help them grow their personal brand and stay top of mind with their audience, where they come in monthly. We do eight videos a month for them to stay consistent on social media, and it starts around $1,000 a month. But for anybody who needs more than that or has a custom strategy that we need to implement, we can do that for them too. That makes it sound a lot better. And that's the bulk of it. And then essentially, you just got to sell to 10 people a month. This is the hard part, is how do you sell to 10 people a month, especially if you don't know anybody. So ideally, when you're picking out your target audience, you want to have some sort of edge in the industry, that you know some people in there or you have some knowledge. But the key to doing this is either having connections, networking, or what I tell everybody to do is to make content. You want to make content talking to your target audience about how your offer helps them solve their problems. So if you're making content on a consistent basis, you are taking your own medicine, because if we're telling people that, hey, you should be making content for your audience, you should be making content for your audience. So make content about, hey, here, if you have a trouble coming up with video ideas, here's how we might be able to help you. Or here are tips to make your reels better. Here are ideas on how to grow your personal brand as a realtor. Make content that is directly talking to the problems your target audience is having. And over time, people will start to reach out to you if your content is good. The key is you don't want to be just selling in every piece of content you make. You want to offer actual good advice, whether that be a tip on lighting, a tip on audio, or messaging, or just anything that they can actually watch and feel like, hey, I got something out of that, or they understand your process more. Anything that they get value out of and establishes you as an expert. And if you've watched any of my other videos, there's a good chance that I've actually talked about one of my biggest content hacks. It is making a podcast. If you start a podcast that is directly related to your target audience, it will help out immensely. So what I did is I had a podcast where I had local realtors on, bigger names in the area. I'd bring all my stuff to them. I didn't have the studio at the time. And I would have them on and just ask them questions about what problems are they facing. My main angle is I want to learn as much as I can about your business so I can make better content to then speak to my audience and get more business myself. And in doing that, you're able to network with people who probably wouldn't give you the time of day if you're just trying to DM them or send them a cold email and things like that. People want to come on a podcast. It's just egotistical. Who doesn't want to be flattered and asked to be on a podcast? It helped me get more face time with other agents, because if I had a popular realtor on my podcast and we had clips together and people got to share them, my face started getting associated with working with real estate agents, which helped more of that social funnel of getting people to understand who I am and what I do. What I would also do is I would give the podcast guests some of their own clips so they can post them and see how good video is and what the experience working with me and my team would be like, and to let them get the feedback of how awesome they looked on camera. And I want to stress, you don't want to go into it thinking that every podcast guest you have is going to be a client of yours. You don't want that to come across at all in any of the way you're talking to them. Will that happen? Probably. That's great. But you want to really just have them on with the express intent of learning about them and their business and helping them with providing some kind of content after the fact or as a thank you. So if you do these things, getting to $10,000 a month it's simple, but it's not that easy, but it's not the hardest thing in the world to do. Now, there's a few things that you have to keep in mind and maybe a few limiting beliefs you have to let go of. As video professionals, we want to make sure everything is the most cinematic and best looking and sounding. And when it comes to scaling a business, there is a point of diminishing returns. You got to figure out how can you deliver this 10 times a month, because that means 10 shoots, 10 batches of videos to edit, 10 people to communicate with, And if you're so concerned in spending time on making it look perfect, it's going to get really hard to scale, especially if you want to go past this, or if you have people who maybe want to go up to your next packages and next tiers. So when you think about scaling, think about how you can create the best product with the least amount of effort on your part. You obviously want it to look and sound better than anybody else in the area, but there are little things that I know you and I know this that we'll spend forever on because we notice it, but the client will never notice and their audience will never notice. So sometimes you have to let go of that perfectionism so you are able to systemize and scale. And one pitfall that this system can create, and it's something to keep in mind, is you might be able to deliver this package to 10 people by yourself. But if you're trying to scale past that, if you're delivering too much for too little, once you get to a point of you having to hire people, it can get a little tricky. It's kind of hard to explain, but you don't want to overextend yourself because you're desperate in getting your first few clients, because then when you get the ball rolling, momentum will start happening, and then you're going to have a really hard time figuring out how to make this work while also retaining profit. So just keep that in mind of don't offer too much to solve the problems and deliver on that promise that you're promising these people, and you will get to this 10K a month. Now, when you get to 10K a month and you want to say, hey, I want to get to 15 or 20, there's a whole different set of challenges that creates, but I'll make a different video on that if you guys want, because it gets pretty tricky when you start talking about systems and workflows and hiring editors and all that fun stuff. All good problems to have, but if you aren't at $10,000 a month yet, this is exactly what I would do. Figure out your target audience, figure out what problems you're going to solve and how you're going to deliver on solving those problems. Come up with a package that is $1,000 a month and sell that to 10 people by making content, making a podcast, and I'll throw in another thing, making ads. But make the ads go to your content. So if you're running ads just to follow you on Instagram, let the content do all of the funnel and heavy lifting work for you. And once you start getting the system to work, the ball will start rolling and you'll be making $10,000 a month in no time. So like I said, it's simple. I understand it's not easy, but I really believe that if you take the system and implement it in your own way in your business, you will make more money. So I hope this helped. If it did, let me know in the comments below, or if it didn't help, or if it's just stupid, let me know in the comments. I really want to make this channel the best it can be to help video agency owners grow their business. And if you got something out of it, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.